How's it going, everybody? I just wanted to bring up a topic tonight that I don't know if some people, Christians, can kind of get off guard with, thinking that well, we should only be focused on the Lord and don't bring up science or math or anything. But we continue to forget that math, the subjects of math and science, and the origins of math and science actually originate from the Lord, because math and science, those two subjects didn't come from anything else. He's the root. And I was gonna give I was gonna give a few passages tonight of the some examples of how math and science intertwine in the Bible and how they're used. And I'm just going to give the passages names, and you can go look and read through them, but I've already read through them. But one part's going to be math, the subject of math, and what chapters they're used in the Bible. But all in all, the origins of where, if someone asks the question, where did math and science come from? Who created math and science? Who created those subjects? Well, it was God. God created math and science. Now, it was in our free will what man were to do with that, because there was good things that they could have done with them. There's also bad things, especially you'll go into the science part. The whole crazy subjects of evolution and everything else, but never mind that. But I just want to give some examples, some chapters of how where math and science are used at, the chapters in the Bible where they're used. I'll start off with the math portions. First, if you read through these chapters out here, it talks about like different. It's kind of like, I guess it talks about, like, uses words like cubits and centimeters and frames and all that stuff. But all in all, it's mathematics. So, and how it's used in different scriptures and how it's talked about in these scriptures in the Bible. But I understand what Christians could say, well, we shouldn't be all over the place. I do understand that, but I'm just stating the fact, yes, we do need to only stay focused on God. But, if you don't want to talk about science and math, that's cool. That's cool too, because math and science came from God. So I don't see an issue with talking about it. I don't see any issue. But this is the math portion I want to bring up, and I'm gonna name just a few chapters to read through, and just how it uses different. It uses the math language within the scriptures, and how it talks about, like, uses different words, like I was saying, cubits, centimeters, lengths, widths, all that stuff. And then I'm gonna turn over and go over to the science portion and use the chapters that it uses the language of science within the chapters as well. So first of all, I'm gonna start off with the math portion. If you look at First Kings chapter 7, verse 23. That's one chapter. It uses the math language. Second chapter I would use is Psalms 90, verse 12. It's another one. And these are just, like I said, examples I'm using out of the Bible, just in case anyone is curious about that. Well, where in the Bible does it talk about or use the math language? Well, here you go. I'm naming off some chapters to read through. Also, another one is Genesis chapter 6, verses 15 through 16. And then I only named off 4. I didn't name off that many. And here's the last one is now there's others that uses the same language. This is just a few that I have written down. But the last one I would use is 1 Kings chapter 6, verses 2 and 3. 2 through 3. Okay, next we're going to roll over to the science portion. And again, it's only 4. It's not that many. Psalms 111, or 111, verse 2. Second verse that I use is in Job, chapter 38 in Job, verses 4 through 30. Seems like a bit much, but it's just science language that it uses. The third one is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 12. So Isaiah chapter 40, verse 12. And then the last one is in Proverbs chapter 14, and it's in verse 15. So that's just the examples of how, the languages, the math and the science languages are applied at in the Bible, which they are. So it's different, if you're going to make math and science an idol, which is a sin. But honestly, the origins of math and science, it all came from God. It's just man has free will. So someone like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, or any of these other people uses these different things for their own advantages, for evils, rather than glorify God. That's different. That's just in our free will. But there's no harm in just talking about this stuff. If you're curious and wondering about the origins of where math and science came from, who created it, all came from God. That's all it is. That's just the root and the origin of where these subjects came from. It all came from God, and these are just chapter examples of where the languages, where it uses the languages at, or in these chapters of how it applies and uses the language of math and the language of science. So I just want to give that little message and talk about it. I like talking about stuff like this. So anyway, God bless and have a great night in Jesus' name.